Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. It is actually like Sunday afternoon. I feel like I haven't vlogged on a weekend in a minute, so I'm excited to start this vlog on a Sunday. But what I'm even more excited about is actually the books I'm going to be featuring for this vlog. Both books are some of my most anticipated reads of the year. They're also incredibly popular. I've only heard good things, so I'm really looking forward to picking them up and also just kind of sharing the experience of reading them with you guys. But without further ado, let's chat about the two books on my TBR. The first in the book I'm going to start with is Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Cloon. I was meaning to pick this book up earlier this month, but I ended up getting a bit distracted by the Wheel of Time. But now I feel like I am ready to just read this book through and through. I also feel like it's going to make me cry, which honestly I'm kind of looking forward to. I could use a bit of a cathartic read. But this is a story kind of set in the place between life and death. Our main character Wallace is beginning to suspect that he may in fact be dead, and he thinks this because the Reaper comes and collects him from his own funeral. He then drops him off at this very unusual tea house between life and death where he meets Hugo. And at this tea shop, Wallace basically comes to the realization that during his life he doesn't really feel like he lived, so he's given one more week to kind of go out into the world and live it up as much as he possibly can. And he goes with Hugo, and that is what I believe this story is about. I hear it's incredibly emotional. I love T.J. Cloon's writing. I feel like he's really able to write bittersweet narratives with just wonderful characters that you fall in love with immediately. I'm hoping this is a quick read. We'll see. So this is the first book on my TBR for this video, and then from there I want to start The Blade Itself by Abercrombie. This is a very anticipated read for me, mostly because I feel like you guys love this series and I want to join the club. This would be my first Abercrombie book. I've never read any book by him, so it just feels like now's the right time to do so, so we might as well see what it's about. Start the First Law series. I hear this is dark, gruesome, grimdark, character-focused fantasy, so I'm really interested in all of those things. So I'm definitely going to be starting this book this week. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish it, but I'll at least be able to get like my initial thoughts and feelings about it, and then I will finish it before the end of the month. That is my TBR for this vlog. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually going to sit down and read some of Under the Whispering Door now. Plans for the rest of this Sunday: I spent most of the morning just editing and getting some work done, trying to get ahead of some deadlines. So for the rest of the day I just want to relax, read, watch TV. I think Clay and I may watch a Christmas movie, so that could be cute and fun. I'm also going to be making one of my favorite instant pot soups, which I'm really looking forward to. So that's all. That's what we got. So anyway, welcome to the vlog. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, let's get to reading. This, of course, is what I've been wearing all day. I'm not getting changed today on this Sunday. I will show you some more put together outfits later in the week. Matilda being very cozy. And I have read a quick 30 pages of Under the Whispering Door, and I'm really liking it so far. It's definitely giving me like Scrooge vibes, so I didn't really know the personality of our main character going into this book, but it's definitely going to be like grumpy old man, hopefully getting a new lease on, I can't say life because he's dead, but maybe like in death. And our book opens and we are introduced to our main character, Wallace, who is a very cutthroat lawyer. And he really has like no friends, no family. He's also not very nice. He likes things very structured. He likes making money. He likes being successful at his law firm. He has very little room for mistakes in his life. And then he dies suddenly and unexpectedly. And he basically from there witnesses his funeral and sees that essentially no one came and no one liked him. And now he's on his way to Hugo's tea shop. I've only, again, read like literally 2 chapters, but so far pulled me in. It has a good amount of humor to it. I appreciate the dialogue. Obviously it's a pretty dark subject matter, and there's a lot of things that are, you know, not so great and I'm not so happy about it, but it does have a little bit of tongue-in-cheekness to it, which I'm appreciating. But definitely gonna read more of this tonight. But I've just been hanging out with Matilda. Clay ran to the grocery store, and then I'm gonna make dinner. I'm gonna make soup tonight because I'm a soup girl. And yeah, that's it. 30 pages down. Woo! Instant Pot is out. We are making soup. Soup girls. I'm pulling out some of my favorite winter recipes. This is a half-baked harvest soup that I make a lot. So I'm gonna get to chopping because there's a bit of chopping. Clay's gonna do some peeling. It's a team effort tonight. And away we go, sauteing some bacon. I've already prepped all my onions. I'm gonna process my garlic press, obsessed. And then I have my celery and potatoes and sausage. Yay! Added the kale, some milk, and some Parmesan. I'm just gonna let this saute for a few minutes, and I'll serve with some toasted sourdough. Yum! And I even got some toast. Bon appetit. About to watch some TV, but Clay got a bunch of Christmas cookies at the grocery store today. So we're gonna make some of these holiday M&M mini sugar cookies. Yum, yum, yum. Back on our anime game. Would you believe us if I told you we stopped watching Attack on Titan season 4 on episode 10 for some reason? It was my fault. Anyway, we're gonna finish it now. After 2 very intense episodes, it's now time to read. Again, I've already read 30 pages, so I'm just gonna try to read as much as I can before I fall asleep. And then I also set my alarm early so I can wake up and read a bit before work tomorrow. So, looking forward to it, so I'm gonna do that now. Good night. Hi guys, good morning. I'm up, I'm dressed. I'm wearing a very bright sweater vest today. And I wanted to talk about my book because hello, I've actually read 150 pages of Under the Whispering Door, and this book is charming and whimsical and so far delivering everything I hoped it would. I wanted to pick up this book and just kind of like fall in head first, love the characters, just a bittersweet, beautiful story about life and death, and that's definitely what it's delivering. Obviously, as I said, it opens on our main character Wallace, and he is a bit of a difficult man. He's not very liked, as it's kind of laid out in the first book, and he basically dies and goes to Hugo's tea shop, and Hugo is actually alive, and he also has an employee who is a Grim Reaper, and Wallace is basically her first individual case, and he arrives there, and Hugo is so sweet, and he basically, you know, makes a living by helping people ferry over from life and death, and his tea shop is cozy, it's homey, he makes not only beautiful tea, but scones. He's also really involved in his like alive community, which is great. And Wallace is there, and he's grumpy, in denial, and angry, as I guess one could expect about his death. And so far, 150 pages in, it's really just been Wallace going through the early stages of, let's call it grief, denial to anger to acceptance and all of those things, and also like slowly getting settled into Hugo's tea shop. It's unusual for spirits to linger too long, but Wallace is described as a difficult case, and he's basically coming to terms with afterlife, but he's also beginning to have these flashbacks to earlier parts of his life. And I just feel like this is gonna be a story about kind of like a grumpy dude realizing some mistakes he maybe made in life and hopefully coming to terms with that, and also trying to make changes for himself currently. I don't know how. The thing that I don't know is that he's obviously already dead, so what form that acceptance is gonna come in, I'm not so sure about. But I have a soft spot for just like grumpy people kind of finding a new lease on life. Like, I love the Christmas Carol, and I kind of feel like this is giving me Christmas Carol vibes. Like, he is a Scrooge, he's a ghost now, he's having all these memories from his past, he's being like shepherded around by, you know, they're not necessarily ghosts, but you know, well, one of them is actually a ghost, and I just feel like they're teaching you both about the afterlife, but also, I don't know, like confronting life and memories in like different ways. It's, again, really, really wholesome and sweet so far. I'm curious to see how it's going to evolve. I feel like I'm kind of past the beginning and the exposition, and so I feel like I'm gonna slide really into the middle to the end part of the plot soon, but the writing is great. TJ Cloon has this really whimsical way about how he writes stories. It's very visual and just like a warm hug. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I feel like I read his books like they're a Wes Anderson movie playing in my head almost. But yeah, the characters are great. I love the banter. I also like that the characters are not afraid to have hard conversations. Like, death is hard, but also different aspects of living is also really hard. And I feel like, I don't know, even when Wallace says something bad, like, they'll confront it directly and be like, hey, that was messed up. And he's like, okay, yeah, you're right. You know, I don't know. I just appreciate that the characters aren't glorifying Wallace, but they're also, everyone is giving each other allowances to like learn and grow too, which is just kind of nice. I don't know, it just feels like a very safe place. This book feels like a safe place. I definitely plan to read more. I hope to maybe read past the 300-page mark tonight. It reads really quickly, But now I actually need to get started on some work. But just wanted to say hello and good morning, and that I'm a really big fan of my sweater vest. I'm not gonna lie. Alrighty, it's time to make lunch, but I just wanted to give you another view of my sweater vest. I think it's so cute. It brings, it makes me happy. I feel like it's bright and colorful. I'm a fan. Great. No sleeves on sweaters is a great thing to have in Texas too. Some of that delicious soup from last night and some toast. Lunch is done. Editing at my desk, and Matilda is making the weirdest face. What is happening? Are you good, Matilda? Hi friends, I've just wrapped up work. Matilda has not moved. I've changed into sweatpants already. I'm gonna start the process of making dinner, but I also wanted to read some Under the Whispering Door before hanging out with Clay for the evening, because I'm really liking this book. I want to read another 50 pages, so I'm just gonna get some stuff on that needs to start cooking. I'm making enchiladas tonight, so I need to make an enchilada sauce and some rice before I make everything else. So I'm going to start that now and then read, so huzzah. Starting step one of dinner, which was just to make an enchilada sauce, which I'm going to use tonight and later this week. And then I'm also starting the rice, which I will make tonight and also eat later this week. So there's that, and then I'll actually make the enchiladas in a bit. Rice is done, and now I'm just starting step two, which is a black bean filling for the enchiladas. And now I just need to pop this in for like 10-15 minutes, and it's ready to eat. And it's all done. And I'm just gonna serve with some Cholula. Starting the third season of this show tonight. Clay and I are big fans. And then I'm gonna do some reading. All right, Matilda, it's time to hit the hay. It's time to get some reading done in the bedroom. Is there any way I could convince you? Let's go. Come on. Nope, not gonna. All right, that's fine. You can stay. But as you can tell by the rain sounds, getting down to business, gonna do some reading. I only was able to read about 25 pages before I finished dinner. So I'm gonna try to read a really decent chunk of this tonight. I'm also like in the mood to cry. You know, just sometimes your emotions are just like, they're right at the surface. So I'm hoping for a tear-jerking moment tonight, because I'm primed and ready. But anyway, I'm going to sit down and read now, and I will check in with you guys in the morning. Good night. Good morning, everyone. Just starting my morning nice and slowly. I'm gonna try the baking soda trick on this coffee mug this week. I'm really excited about it, but I'm just sitting, enjoying my faux fireplace and reading, so cheers. Hi, it's later in the morning. I'm up and dressed, which I'm pretty pleased with, but I wanted to do a reading check-in because I have read a really good chunk of this book, and I'm for sure on track in finishing this book today. I have about 100 pages left approximately. I'm really enjoying this. I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it as much as The House on the Cerulean Sea, but I do feel like that feeling that the book gave me would be very hard to replicate, but I still am loving this story. It's really, really charming. First and foremost, it has a really wonderful found family component. Obviously, we're following Wallace post his death, and he's basically settled himself into this tea house. And he's getting closer not only to Hugo, but other members present in this house, including May, who is the Green Reaper, who we meet at the beginning of this book, as well as another ghost named Nelson. And basically all of them kind of settle into their own routine, and seeing how they complement each other is just lovely. And I'm talking like May and Hugo, Nelson, just like everyone has their own quirks and personalities, but it all just kind of settles into this really cozy picture. And then obviously the tea house itself is such a lovely setting. You don't really leave once you're there. Like, everything kind of takes place in this one central location, and the cool thing about the house is that it sort of bridges life and death. Like, obviously Wallace is a ghost, there's other ghosts we run into, but there's also obviously still connections to the living world, and the tea house is like an active house that people come to from the town and enjoy, which I appreciate. Obviously Wallace is our main character. His primary arc is kind of realizing what he was missing out on, and like kind of transforming as a human. Now that he has, I guess, the reflection, or even like maybe because he doesn't have the ties of living so much anymore, and the different expectations of his job or kind of his life that kind of made him not have to reflect on himself. But now in death, like, he's realizing that, he doesn't really want to be the person he was before, and he's really actively like trying to change. And on top of all of that, there is a hint, if not even a hint, a romance that's kind of beginning to occur between Wallace and Hugo. They're both two men that are very, very different from each other, but kind of seeing how they are beginning to listen and just rely on one another is honestly really, really beautiful. I am very scared about it because Wallace is dead, so I don't really know where or how this romance could unfold. But even just seeing, even if it's temporary, how these two men just bring each other up is just a really lovely thing to witness. Obviously, this book, in dealing with the topics of death and encountering it in a variety of different ways, I do want to give obvious trigger warnings for things like grieving and death and suicide. There's a lot of discussion about all of these topics, and I do feel like TJ Cloon does a really good job approaching these particular things. I feel like he does it with a lot of care and a lot of empathy and a lot of heart. There are many conversations about mental health and what it looks like to grieve, and obviously Hugo's job is constantly confronting, you know, ghosts, as well as sometimes even family members who are dealing with the sudden shock of death itself. So that is a large aspect of the story, and I really do feel like TJ Cloon does a pretty good job exploring all of that. The one thing I'll say, in my opinion, I feel like the synopsis is a little misleading. What's not misleading is Wallace being dead and going to this tea shop, but that is primarily, at least, I mean, I have 100 pages left, but I've almost read 300 pages of this book. That's where primarily the entire book takes place. There's an element of the synopsis that's like, he gets 7 days to like live it back up in life, basically, and there definitely is a bargain, but it's my interpretation of the synopsis was him like going back into life and kind of fixing all of the connections he kind of fumbled, you know, while he was alive, because there was many, because he wasn't a great person at all. But I think it's more about like existing now in this like new place and where he is. But we'll see. I'm gonna finish it, but that is one thing I wanted to call out. I felt like the synopsis was like a little bit misleading, but yeah, I am really liking this. I enjoy Wallace. I really like all of the characters. I wouldn't say it's hitting me so hard in the heart like The House on the Cerulean Sea, though. But I will say I love a reformed grumpy person. It's just like a trope that gets me every time. But I'm gonna really try to finish this hopefully by the afternoon, because I really want to start The Blade Itself by Abercrombie. But yeah, just wanted to give you a bit of a reading update before I get down to business and do some other stuff, because I'm doing pretty good. Also, this is my outfit. I'm a big fan of this sweater cardigan. I like the collar a lot and the chunky buttons. It's from And Other Stories. I got it on sale a while ago, but yeah, hey, making a grilled cheese for lunch, I've decided, with some salami. Just sounded good, so we're going with it. Bon appetit. Did some coffee up in the microwave, and now I'm ready to sit down with Miss Matilda and finish my book. I'm gonna take the rest of the late afternoon to read. I was supposed to read, but instead I watched Real Housewives and planned a trip to Paris with Monica, so exciting stuff, but not, well, it was productive in its own way, but not very productive when it came to reading. But now I'm going to make another round of enchiladas, which I'm looking forward to. And that's it, sit more on the couch, and I will read tonight. I definitely feel like I can finish Under the Whispering Door, no problem, just because it reads really, really quickly and I have less than 100 pages left, so shouldn't be an issue. But just wanted to say, good evening, let's make dinner. I did not read. Enchiladas round 2 are complete and ready to go in the oven. Enchiladas are done, and Survivor is on. Gotta love it. And it's time officially now to finish Under the Whispering Door. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope I cry. Like, I really want to shed a tear or two. That was kind of my hope picking this book up. Like, it feels emotional, like it's heartwarming, but I haven't had the urge to cry yet. But we'll see. Spoke too soon. I'm crying. I suppose that's what I asked for, so it's the gingerbread tea, everyone. It just got me, all right? The gingerbread tea. Good morning, friends. I'm up and dressed. Good news, I did finish my book last night. Clay also made me a smoothie, which I'm really happy about. I'm now just prepping to film a video, and after I finish filming, I'll give you a wrap up of Under the Whispering Door, and then I plan to start Joe Abercrombie's book today, this afternoon. I want to read a good chunk of it so I can give you guys some initial opinions. But for now, I need to focus on my to-do list, and then I'll keep you guys updated as things come along. So, hello. Oh, I'll show you my outfit because I love it. Forever wearing the same jeans from Madewell. But this is a cardigan from Saison from 2 years ago, maybe last year. I'm a big fan. That's what I'm wearing. Just sweater and jeans, can't go wrong. Hi friends, I'm here because I want to wrap up Under the Whispering Door. As I mentioned, I finished it last night. It definitely made me shed a tear or two, but I'm going to stand by my statement of I don't think I loved it, or I know I didn't love it as much as The House on the Cerulean Sea. I feel like this book has a lot, and it is very emotional. I love the found family. I love Hugo. I love May. I love Apollo. I love Nelson. I love everyone there. I think the aspect of this story that I had a little bit of a harder time with is Wallace's character development. I do love his development from being grumpy to kind of recognizing like what's important in life, but I do feel like his transformation was a little quick. He was just like so like robotic and rude and to the point in like the first chapter that I felt like his transformation was almost like very, very sudden. So I had a harder time, I don't want to use the word believing it, but I just had a harder time like being fully invested in it. Obviously I feel like with something so sudden and unexpected as death, I suppose you could say that it would cause really rapid transformation. So I guess I can withhold my disbelief, but I don't know. I appreciated this book quite a bit. I actually, the ending caught me a little bit by surprise. I'm not sure if that would have been my choice, but I feel like I can really respect it nonetheless. At the end of the day, this is a really cozy, heartwarming book that also deals with some very dark topics like grieving and death and all of that. It has some lovely characters, some fantastic dialogue. It definitely has the signature TJ Cloon feel good but also like hurt your heart kind of story and narrative. I feel like I'm nitpicking a bit. At the end of the day, I still really liked this book. I would probably give it like a 3.75 4 stars. I just wouldn't say it hit it out of the park for me like The House on the Cerulean Sea did, because that book was like everything to me. But I still really liked this and I would still recommend it quite a bit. And it still made me cry, which at the end of the day, that is what I was looking for. But I did finish this. I'm really happy about it. I've read about 380 pages so far for this vlog. I'm about to make lunch, but then I'm going to start The Knife Itself. Is that what it's called? I was about to call it The Subtle Knife. I think it's the Blade Itself. Joe Abercrombie's book. And I will let you know how that goes, but just wanted to wrap this up, say happy Wednesday, and yeah. Hot girls eat soup, am I right, ladies? Love a day 3 leftover moment. All right, everyone. My final fall candle is burning. Cup of coffee, faux fireplace, and we are starting The Blade Itself. And I am really excited about it. Hello, friends. So I wanted to pop in. I'm actually about to start dinner because I'm making a roast, so it needs time to cook. But I've read the first 40 pages of The Blade Itself, and wow, what an intro. The first 40 pages, quite gruesome, let's say. And so far I've been introduced to 2 characters who seem very different, or at least leading very different lives. First character is Logan, and we basically follow him as he's fighting for his life. He's basically fighting off this monster, getting all of his stuff, and just trekking through the wilderness trying to make it through another day. I get the interpretation that he's some sort of mercenary, someone very experienced with not only travel, but combat and surviving. His chapters are very gruesome in terms of his fight and also the details of his injuries, but not nearly as gruesome as Glokta's chapters, who is an inquisitor, and he is someone who is let's just say very focused on a job well done. He, after the war, basically joined the Inquisition, the Inquisitor's office, and he basically gets people for various crimes, tax evasion from the king, all of these things, and it seems like he likes to catch particularly powerful individuals. And we open with his chapter in the midst of a interrogation, trying to get a confession from a powerful noble in this particular case, and then he's kind of dragged into a larger political scheme by an even more powerful individual. He seems gruesome, he seems motivated by things that are very unclear to me, and he will stop at nothing to get them. So far, obviously, I have not read enough to kind of glean an overall opinion or even the overall plot, but it's very interesting so far. I like the writing style a lot. I find it to be very approachable and engaging, while also being very, very dark and gruesome. It's very descriptive, especially on things like injuries. If you don't like mouth, teeth stuff like me, might be a little interesting to get through. But nonetheless, though, I am liking it so far. Both the characters are obviously very gray in morality, at least from what I can decipher right now, but they're oddly likable. Like, I don't know. I don't want to use the word likable quite yet, but they're interesting to follow, at least. Like, I'm very intrigued by their characters, and I'm curious to see where their storylines take us. But I obviously have a lot of this book left. And I guess I should say, I love merchant politics in general. So Gloikta's chapters specifically call out to me. I love this sort of like, he's investigating these like powerful merchants or these powerful houses who are trying to basically line their own pockets, and like, right or wrong, I think it's just like an interesting setting to be in. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna read more of this tonight, but first I gotta get this roast in the oven. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna work on that now. But yeah, I have officially started the blade itself. All right, and so it begins. I've seasoned this guy, and now it's time to first brown my veggies in my Dutch oven. Ooh. Gonna let those simmer and cook. And I'm gonna sear this guy, add my juices and my wine, pop it in the oven. Yum. And then you just combine everything in the pot, throw it in the oven, and we'll see it in 4 hours, folks. Setting up for a holiday work shoot. I also bought Reese's Trees, which the best part of the season. But I think it turned out cute. I got these little lights here, which honestly maybe I'll leave. And then I put up like our tree Christmas lights back there, which I won't leave because I'm gonna go on a Christmas tree. But Matilda's a fan. Joined in company, but pot roast is done. Hi friends, I'm officially in pajamas. I finished that work project and hung out with my friend. We had dinner, it was delicious. But I'm now gonna read more of the blade itself. Matilda straight up came to bed like 45 minutes ago. She was basically like, get with the program. So we're gonna hang out, we're gonna snuggle, and I'm gonna read more of this book. You know, a perfect bedtime story. I've also forgot to mention there is now a third character, so more perspectives. Hello friends, and happy Thursday. I'm up, I'm dressed, I'm actually laundered, which was a nice morning moment. But I've just been, you know, getting my to-do list done, which I'm gonna continue to do so now. But I wanted to say I did read 80 pages of The Blade itself last night, and I have to say it's really, really pulled me in. I like all of the characters and also dislike all the characters, which kind of makes it kind of a fun dynamic. So far, nothing crazy has happened yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a slow-moving plot, which I do not mind in the least. I'm obviously going to read more today. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll keep you guys updated. But for now, I just wanted to say hello. I've read, and I'll do a more in-depth reading check-in in a bit because I do have some thoughts and feelings. But for now, I'm going to get back to editing at my desk. But hello, it's Thursday. Another day, another soup. Woof, it's been a busy day, which means the ceremonial candle must be lit, and we are gonna finally do some reading, as I haven't had a chance to read really at all. I'm not gonna lie. I really need to get one of those wick cutters because this is starting to get out of hand. Oh no. Success. Before I sit down to actually do some reading, I wanted to talk about The Blade itself and the pages that I've already read, which I've read just under the 100-page mark. I'm going to read more tonight. I think Clay and I are gonna lay low watch a Christmas movie. I really want to watch that new Christmas movie that came out on Netflix. I'm just in the spirit, in the mood. But a little under 100 pages. I'm really enjoying this. I've already kind of spoken to this. I can't really say much about plot. So far, I've encountered 3 perspectives, and each perspective kind of has his own point of view, obviously, but also like main plot and motivations. We're just very much like in their head as they're going about their day-to-day lives. Some of them are a little more hot right at the beginning, like things are happening. Obviously, I already mentioned we follow Logan, and he seems to be some sort of like mercenary-esque character. At least that's how he makes a living, and in general, he is searching for revenge. It's not entirely clear, but it appears that everyone he's ever loved has died. So now he's just kind of like roaming the world, taking on various missions for himself to like find revenge. And at the beginning of this book, he basically just kind of runs into a spirit, and they're like, oh, there's a magi coming for you, and you're gonna go south. And he's like, all right, I'll go south and see what kind of happens, and takes us there. Obviously we also follow Glock, who I would say right now is currently my favorite perspective to read from. I just find his character and his personality to just be really interesting. There's also probably the most happening within his chapters right now, as he's kind of finding himself being used as a player for other people's political games, but he's also very capable and very, very smart. So seeing how he's kind of interacting with all of these different people is pretty cool. He's very brutal. He's a brutal man. He also was tortured in the previous wars, and he has a lot of prolonged injuries from that experience, and also a lot of trauma as well. Just his chapters are they just really have pulled me in, and I'm very curious to see how they're going to transform. And then the other chapter, the other character I'm not sure if I've mentioned, is Giselle, and he's like a overly confident, overly attractive, overly rich captain in the military, and he's training for this like upcoming swords competition. And he's like, again, like a funny sort of point of view. He's by no means perfect. None of these people are perfect. And the fact that actually all of them are a little problematic makes it entertaining in its own way. But his chapters tend to be the most humorous because he's kind of a, for lack of a better word, an ass. But seeing him kind of just like maneuver about, basically so far just following him in training as he's like working towards this competition and going out on debaucherous nights with his friends, gambling and the like. But yeah, like again, only 80 pages in. Even though that's almost like a fifth of the way through this book, I couldn't tell you what's really going on with like the larger political landscape of this world, but I'm not sure if I need to know that yet. But the writing, the characters are all calling out to me. I want to read a larger chunk of this tonight, hopefully get past the 200-page mark so I can at least have some more thoughts to wrap this vlog up with. But I'm really pleased with this so far. But now I want to change in pajamas, eat some Reese's peanut butter cups on the couch, and get ready to watch a Christmas movie. Clay went on, I'm not even kidding, I wish I was. Clay loves a walk. I mean, if you weren't aware, Clay voluntarily walked the entire length of Manhattan for fun one day. Anyway, he just came out of his office and was like, I'm gonna go walk to this ice cream store that's 40 minutes away to buy vegan ice cream. And that's what he did. And that's where he's at. I'm looking forward to him coming back so I can try some of that vegan ice cream, but he went on his own little adventure and I hope he's having a good time. But for now, it's time for pajamas. All right, Clayton came back with his haul. We have birthday cake. Will it focus? Birthday cake, which I think they're all made with coconut milk. Yeah, I think they are. We also got marshmallow stardust, which just the name alone sold. Vanilla, because we love vanilla. And then banana caramel crunch, which sounds delicious. I have been really into banana desserts. So, yummy. Let's give it a try. Okay, well guys, 10 out of 10. This is amazing, actually. This is the best vegan ice cream I've ever had. If you handed that to me, I wouldn't be able to tell it was vegan. It's super creamy.
Yeah, it's really good.
Texture's on point.
Yeah. Not a moo, not a problem.
Watching that new Netflix Christmas movie, Love Hard, about Nina Dobrev getting catfished. Hopefully it's cute. We shall see. Yum, yum, yum. Round 2 of the pot roast. Movie going well so far. Guys, I just found out via social media that they dropped the Wheel of Time early. So we're gonna watch the first episode tonight. I am so excited. I'm so excited. This is gonna be Clay's first interaction with the series, so I can't wait. We're gonna watch it now. Woo! Alrighty, we just finished the first episode, and I personally, as someone who's now read the first 2 books, was really pleased. I loved cinematography, I love the landscapes, I love the magic. I like that it kept, while it was definitely like gruesome, there were some like gruesome moments, it kept kind of like the color that you would want in a fantasy world. It wasn't all just like grim and dark. It still had color, which I appreciated. I don't know, I thought it was a really good first episode. Clay, what about you? Man who's never read the books, knew nothing about this at all. First episode, what's your hot take?
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. Thought it was like fast-paced.
Engaged? Were you
engaging.
engaged? You only asked me about 15 questions while I
Yeah, but I just knew because you knew. And I also like to like guess the plot. So, which is like your least favorite thing. It's probably where we clash the most. I'm like, I bet this is gonna happen. And you're like, don't tell me.
Yeah, I'm like, just watch it.
I liked it a lot. I thought, even though I was asking you a lot of questions, because I do know you know the answer, I felt like they explained things pretty well, which personally, I do not like feeling lost because I don't like the feeling that I'm missing something that I'm supposed to be understanding, and sometimes it's hard to read that line.
Yeah, especially with like fantasy stuff, because there's so much that he's
because I also don't want to feel like I missed something and then be like I'm not enjoying the rest of the plot because I'm just confused when I shouldn't be because it wasn't explained well enough.
But it explained. You thought it was effective and explained.
I thought it was effective, and obviously you don't want everything
to be just like spelled out.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really good. I'm really looking forward. They released the first 3 episodes tonight, so I'm gonna watch the next couple over the next couple days. But I am pleased. I'm really looking forward to this journey. We're here. Wheel of Time is here. Rain sounds are on, which can only mean one thing: reading time. Hi friends, and welcome to the end of the vlog a few days later. Good news, we're just going to primarily focus on the Blade itself because I was able to read over the 200-page mark, and honestly this book has very much grown on me. I'll say it's a slow building plot, but I appreciate it. But I'm starting to see hints of what I think will be kind of the larger plot at hand. Obviously, as I've mentioned, at end we follow Logan, and he's primarily in the north right now, though he is traveling south. But the situation in the north is that it's sort of been politically united by one very violent and kind of unpredictable leader, and he's basically trying to band everyone together with a war against the south. And Logan does not want to be involved. Not only does he has a history with this previous leader, he's just not interested in it at all. And he also finds himself with the Magi so far, which is really interesting and cool, and I'm really enjoying learning more about the magic. We follow Glokta, whom is by far and away my current favorite POV, and he is involved in like a political and economic conspiracy that is kind of like upending this southern kingdom, which, you know, just got declared war on by the north where Logan is. Not only is there this like overthrow of this sort of merchant power called the Mercers, which he is very much in the center of, but there seems to be an even larger conspiracy at play having to do with maybe the Mercers weren't even the ones behind it all. Like there might be some other players, and Glokta is trying to figure out what is happening, who he should trust, who he should investigate, even at all. And his chapters I find to be very, very fascinating. I'm also really pleased, honestly, through like the first 200 pages, I was really liking it, but I had a complaint of like, there are no female characters, not any female perspectives, and honestly, the female characters we run into are either portrayed as annoying, just or hot, or like entertaining for our male characters to kind of move around. But luckily, into the beginning parts of part 2, we do have a female. And while we don't know too much about her yet, we do know she's very proficient with the bow and arrow, and I'm looking forward to reading more chapters by her, and I hope there are more female characters in general throughout this series, but we'll see. Yeah, war is on the horizon. It's gonna be gory, it's gonna be messy, and I love that there's sort of like internal issues happening at the same time on both ends, like unrest and people being upset in both political situations, north and south, and kind of seeing the internal conspiracy as well as the outward invasion should be messy, to say the least. But yeah, I read just over 200 pages of this. I'm really looking forward to reading and finishing it. I love the writing style. Overall, I just find it super, super engaging. So I'm such a fan. And then obviously I also read the entirety of Under the Whispering Door, which was also a great time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Bye-bye.